Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to East Gymnasium here at Fort Lee for today's Big North American Division Showdown between the visiting Red Raiders of Cliffside Park and the Bridgemen of Fort Lee High School. Cliffside Park coming into today's contest 9-9 on the season, Fort Lee 10-7, and a perfect 5-0 in division play. A win this afternoon for Fort Lee would assure them at least a share of the Big North American Division title for a second consecutive season. These two sides met earlier this season back on September 20th. Fort Lee won in two sets, 25-23 and 25-17 on the road at Cliffside Park. So in this matchup of arch rivals, again, a lot on the line for the Bridgemen. If they are victorious here today, at least a share of the division title, as they are still 2 games up on the closest team, being Ridgeville Park, who they just bested for a second time this season last week. Matthew Brunelli, the head coach for Cliffside Park. John Ziemba, the head man for Fort Lee, as we are about to get underway. Both teams wearing black. To the right side of your screen, wearing the black and red, is going to be Cliffside Park. In the black, white, and orange is going to be the home-sided Bridgemen of Fort Lee High School. Fort Lee coming off a loss their last time out against Pascack Valley in the Bergen County tournament over the weekend. And Cliffside Park also coming off a loss in the Bergen County tournament as they were defeated and eliminated by Northern Highlands over the weekend. So the second meeting here. At the beginning of the season, 6-1, the Red Raiders of Cliffside Park have only gone 1-5 in their last 6 matches. As we are about to get underway here again from East Gymnasium, Dan Long, Dimitri Nanis, Renee Matisic, so glad that you could join us here on our Fort Lee Athletics broadcast. As Luciana Casal, the senior, will get things going with the service ace. As Cliffside Park could not handle that one. As Alexa Bigler, the libero, was trying to get a piece of it. So the ace gives Fort Lee an early 1-0 advantage here in set number 1. Casal now serving it over to the left side. Cliffside Park trying to get it up and over, and they do. Casal setting up Pagan in front. Pagan blocked away. Cliffside Park gets it to fall right in between that back line of Borisov and Nutrawani. So after the rally there, Cliffside Park scores their first point of this opening set to tie things up at 1-1. As Alexa Bigler, the senior, who had 8 service points and 7 digs against Dwight Morrow in a recent match on October 8th, will serve the first time here today. As Borisov will get it over for Fort Lee. Pagan trying to set things up in front, got a deflection in front. Trying to use that size, as she was out of the lineup in our last broadcast against Tenafly. Another long rally here, but then that's mishit into the net. Second point of this opening set for Fort Lee, as the Bridgemen will once again serve, this time with Nicole Coelho, the senior who had a season-high 13 digs against Cliffside Park back on September 20th. Borisov mishit there as that goes for the point down the near side, and we will be deadlocked once again at 2-all. As a couple of subs being made for Cliffside Park as they're getting set to serve here. With Nicolina Echevarria, the senior, doing the serving. Had 6 service points against Fort Lee in that first meeting. Dumping off in front of the nets, and Cliffside Park gets the winner. And they will take their first lead of the afternoon at 3-2. Fort Lee trying to stop a bit of a run here that Cliffside Park has been going on. Pagan setting it up as Rue gets it over. Again in front, Rue diving, Pagan swirling in to send it over. Nutrawani, Casal, Pagan And they're going to say a double hit. So another point for Cliffside Park, and the Red Raiders with a little bit of momentum. 3 consecutive points have given the visitors a 4-2 lead here in set number 1. And a good start to this one in set number 1 for Cliffside Park. Again, that's 4 in a row. They've gone on a run here to open up. All on the service of Echeverria. 5-2 now the lead after Fort Lee had led 2-1. Rue can't get it over in time after that initial miss hit led to the problem, and Coach Ziamba, sensing that momentum clearly on the side of the visitors, wants to settle his team down here as they face a 6-2 deficit here in set number 1. Again, what's on the line here today? A win for Fort Lee, who currently reside in first place of the Big North American Division with a perfect 5-0 division mark. A win here would assure them at least a share of the league title, as they would still remain 2 games up on the closest competitor, knowing that they could clinch with a simple win in their next league match on October 15th, clinch outright against Dwight Morrow. But in order to do that, they have to take care of business here at home against Cliffside Park. Nutrwani lets it go long, and that will end the run there for Cliffside Park. That 5-0 run now ends, and it's a 6-3 advantage for Cliffside, as Nutrwani will begin the service for Fort Lee. Nutrwani had a season-high 15 digs in the first meeting. That one looked like it was deemed to be going long, but Nutrwani got a piece of it. Kind of got caught in between there, whether or not to really aggressively go after it or let that one go, and got a piece of it as it was sailing, it seemed like, in front of us to be going long. Cliffside Park on top of Fort Lee, 7-3. And there's a service ace again. They were going right at the libero, Nicole Nutrwani. 8-3, Cliffside Park. It was a tight one the first time around, 25-23 in the opening set, which was won in that opening set of play back on the 20th. Arsov eventually gets credited with that point for her side, as it was a double hit against Cliffside Park. 8-4 now the deficit for Fort Lee as they get set to serve. Here in set number 1. 2 arch rivals colliding. Always intense when these 2 schools go at it, no matter the sport, as Borisov serving that one into the net for the service error. As Kathleen Murtaugh will sub in for Borisov, who comes out. 9-4 lead now for Cliffside Park here in set number 1. They go right into Murtaugh, and there's another service ace for Cliffside. So the Red Raiders playing sharp right now. They lead by 6, 10-4, and have produced a couple of service aces here against the Bridgemen. Seem a step slow in the early goings of this one. They try to go fast there with Murtaugh, trying to get it over in front of the net to Casal, but another point for Cliffside Park. Growing in confidence right now, 11-4 lead here in set number 1. That one is going to be a point for Fort Lee. No, they're going to say that that's the point. It actually trickled over just over the net and on the side of Fort Lee's side. So 12-4, another ace. Casal getting it over. Cliffside Park now setting it up in front of the net, down that near sideline. Sent back by Murtaugh. Now over to the far side, and Fort Lee stumbling here, 13-4 deficit. It's been all Red Raiders in the early going. Nurchawani. Little miscommunication as a couple of Bridgman players combined to try to make that play. That one is hit out of bounds to the far side, or to the near side, down that near side line, and that will go out for a point for Fort Lee. So what type of adjustments can Fort Lee get on a long, sustained scoring run of their own? They trail 13-5 here in set number one. Casey Rue, the senior, will serve it. Cliffside getting it over. Nurchawani with a one left-handed move. But then a mishit there by Fort Lee. It goes out of bounds to the far side. 14-5 advantage now for Cliffside Park. Cliffside Park last season went 3-12 overall, but one of their wins came late in the regular season against Fort Lee, winning 2-0 at home. And again, in a rivalry, you bring out the best in your game, and they would love nothing more than to ruin the party here at Fort Lee with a win here today. Coming into the game now is Tori Goris. Nurchawani popping it over to Casal, setting up top as Conti scores the point for Fort Lee to make it 14-6. Mia Frankel, the sophomore, on now. Number 19, set to serve here for Fort Lee as the Bridgmen down 14-6. Frankel with a low-lining serve was returnable, though, for Cliffside Park, as they just get it over with Goris. Front of the nets and finished home. They're going to say with the official on the far side trying to say that there was interference with the net right in front. So instead of getting that point for Fort Lee, they're going to say that the violation will give the point to Cliffside Park. The interference at the net, as Pagan looked to have been able to just finish that one off. But again, the interference call gives a Cliffside Park lead now at 15-6 here in set number one. Good service again, another ace for Cliffside Park as the aces are befuddling Fort Lee right now. A 10-point advantage for the visiting Red Raiders. Dumped out in front of the net. Again, Pagan setting it back. Just a volley of sorts going back and forth. Jaden Isigliol, number 18, was just going back and forth with Pagan and eventually finished it off. 17-6 now. Cliffside Park's lead growing again. And mishit by Pagan. Just Fort Lee seems out of sorts right now. (18-6). Cliffside Park just playing sharper volleyball right now. Again, that eats up Rouge. She does a good job of diving to save it, though, for the Bridgmen. In front, Cliffside Park fakes like they were going to go for a big spike play and actually took a little mustard off of it. Meadow Aligo, the senior, number 9, run with the point. 19-6, all Cliffside Park here in set number one. Casal setting up Pagan. Pagan finishes it off in style. (19-7) now the deficit for Fort Lee. Fort Lee has won 6 of their last 10 matches on the season, but have gone only 3-5 here at home in the East Gym. There's a service ace just when it's needed the most by Casal. We've seen plenty of aces in set number one for the visitors. Now Fort Lee trying to go on a run of their own. Casal's service again, hard to handle for Cliffside Park. That's back-to-back points now. As Fort Lee trying to make a bit of a run here late in set number 1. They trail by 10 still. Plenty of work to do, 19-9. Casal again with a good heavy serve. Mirchawani digs it out. Trying to pop it over backwards and getting it just a little too long. So a point goes over to Cliffside Park as they were trying to curl it into that near side. But again, with that tough angle with the momentum carrying Fort Lee backwards, it leads to a point. Cliffside Park 5 points away from capturing set number 1. Rue to Casal, now Pagan. Pagan dropping that one as that's a little too long. It's another point for the Red Raiders, 21-9 now, the deficit facing Fort Lee. They won in straight sets on the road at Cliffside Park back on September 20th. In danger of dropping set number 1 here at home. Borisov, kind of the mishit helped her, and then the point is given to Fort Lee. As Borisov kind of had it cut off her hand. I don't know if she was trying to do that. If so, that is a deft touch in the play, as that dropped off and eventually led to the point itself. 21-10. There's an ace as Nicole Coelho, the senior, making the play there. Serving that one to the front line. 21-11. In front again, that's going to be a point for Fort Lee, as it looks like it was a carry, the official call. That time, miss hit, so the service error gives the point to Cliffside Park. The lead back to 10, 22-12. So Coach Brunelli has to be thrilled at how his team has come out here early on the road against their arch rival, and has really given fits to Fort Lee defensively with their service game. Once again, unreturnable as Rue popped that one into the net diagonally. Now it's 23-12, Cliffside Park on top. They lost to Northern Highlands 25-9, 25-15 in their county tournament game over the weekend. But they are playing their best volleyball right now, 23-13 the lead. Cliffside gets it over in time. Here's Rue, and Rue too strong as that one goes long. And now we're at set point, 24-13. Cliffside Park leading Fort Lee here in set number 1. A bit of a surprise at how dominant Cliffside Park has been. That one is served into the net by the Red Raiders. 24-14 now the lead. For Cliffside Park, Borisov and Fort Lee trying to stay alive here in set number 1, but facing set point. Casal popping it up. Conti, but then there was miscommunication there between Borisov and Casal. And a big-time performance in set number 1 for the visitors from Cliffside Park. They take set 1, 25-14. As we'll have a break here before getting to the start of set number 2. As Coach John Ziemba's side, a perfect 5-0 in divisional play this year, up against it here today as they face a 1-set-to-none deficit. Heading into set number 2 here at home as you're watching Fort Lee girls volleyball action here on the Fort Lee Athletics YouTube channel. Again, we're in between sets as we're about to get to the start of set number 2. Fort Lee trailing 1-0 as Cliffside Park put together a 25-14 win in that opening set. Coming into this one, Fort Lee is ranked 6th in the North 1 Group 3 PowerPoint rankings, with Wayne Valley and Roxbury being the 2 top overall seeds. So obviously not only divisional you're thinking about here in terms of the divisional standings, and if Fort Lee were to come back here in their next 2 sets and win, they would win at least and clinch at least a share of the divisional championship. Also, they're trying to see if they can garner as high a seed as possible this year, playing in North 1 Group 3, a very demanding bracket. If they could garner one of those top 16 seeds, not only will they qualify for the states, but if you obviously get one of those top 8 seeds, you could host at least the first round at your home gym. So again, Cliffside Park was all over Fort Lee in that first set, but deviling the Bridgemen with countless numbers of service aces. Now we'll see what type of adjustments Coach Ziemba and the Bridgemen have made here to get ready for set number 2. As about to get set for the start of set number 2. Again, Fort Lee is to the left side on your screen in the black, white, and orange. In the black and red are the visiting Red Raiders of Cliffside Park. 9-9 on the season. Fort Lee 10-7. Fort Lee won the first meeting on the road at Cliffside Park, 2-0. In order to vanquish the Red Raiders here today, they'll have to rally from 1 set down and win the next 2 consecutive sets. Cliffside Park trying to split the season series. If they could win here in set number 2 and come away with a big road victory. Again, some delays here with the official checking over at the scores table. I don't know if it was a substitution problem that the official closest to the scores table is trying to go over. But that speaks to the delay right now before we get underway to start set number 2. Dan Long, so glad that you could join us again for coverage of Fort Lee Bridgemen volleyball action here on the Fort Lee Athletics YouTube channel. So Conti came off. Nutriwani comes in to start set number 2, and Cliffside Park serving. Nutriwani digging it out. Here's Pagan, and Pagan gets Fort Lee going the right way here for set number 2. That's more like it, as Sophia Pagan, the 5'6" junior, who had 5 kills in the first meeting against Cliffside Park, getting that point for the Bridgemen, who are off to a 1-0 lead. They led early in set number 1, 2-1, but then Cliffside Park went on a run and never looked back. Casal serving, dug out by Bigler. Casal setting up Goris to the far side. Cliffside pushing it over. Casal setting up Pagan. Pagan trying to go to that back line. Bigler doing a good job of covering up. Dropping it off. Kulku, the one in front with the size, number 22 in black and red. And that shot going wide of the mark to the far side after a long rally between both teams. goes out of bounds for a point for Cliffside Park. 1-1 the score. So 1-1 is the score right now as Cliffside Park goes back to serve here in set number 2. They won the opening set here on the road, trying to sweep this match. And once again, that deflected off of Nutriwani despite the valiant effort of Coelho diving in front of us. Cliffside Park leading 2-1. That time service errors that served out of bounds. That'll tie the score at 2-2. As Coach Ziemba talking things over with his libero, Nicole Nutriwani, kind of telling her, don't just flail your arm out and get a piece of it. Because in doing so, some of these serves are bound to go out of bounds as well for Cliffside Park. Don't give them a break. And there's a good finish and a kill there for Cliffside Park and Brianna Kolku, the 5'6" senior who had 9 service points recently against Dwight Morrow in their win on October 8th. The running serve, Casey Rue getting it over. Bigler digging it out. To the near side, Borisov. Casal over to Pagan. Pagan trying to time or jump a little bit there. And Cliffside Park finds the empty area for the point. Cliffside has been really strong so far here today. Cliffside Park has in just finding that opening spot and making the defense move a bit in front of the net for Fort Lee. And they found a vacated spot in the back right corner. 4-2 lead now for Cliffside Park. Service error into the net. Fort Lee now with a point. And the service and trailing by 1, 4-3. Again, Fort Lee is the only undefeated team in league play so far this season. 5-0 so far. Nutriwani doing a good job there, getting cleanly underneath it. Rue took a little something off that one. Cliffside Park could not get it over in time. Back-to-back points secured by the Bridgemen, and we are tied at 4-4. Casey Rue kind of sliced that one at the net rather than Cliffside Park anticipating a hard spike attempt. Conti got a piece of that one up front. They get it to her now just to get it up and over. Now the setup in front. Borisov doing a good job defensively, but then miscommunication there. As rather than just sending it backwards, Fort Lee was trying to set up another teammate who wasn't in the area to try to get it up and over. 5-4 with a point now for Cliffside Park in the lead for the Red Raiders. You know, as they'll look to continue to build on that lead. Coelho doing a nice job of saving that in play. Conti, though, mishits it. Goes long and outside to the far side. 6-4 lead now for Cliffside Park. Cliffside is victorious here in set number 2. They will sweep this game and this overall match and head home with what would be their 3rd win in divisional play this season. They're 2-3 in the American Division. Nutriwani. Coelho. Borisov. Nice job there by the Bridgemen. 2 defensive plays, and then Borisov curls it over, cut in front of the nets, and got that cross-court winner. 6-5 lead now for Cliffside Park. As the freshman lefty will serve this one. Coelho, Casal, Rue. Now Bigler setting up her team in front. Nutriwani doing a good job of saving that one. Rue just popping it up and over. Conti setting up Rue again. Content with just popping it. There's a little bit of a collision ensuing in the back line there as Bigler, the libero in red, had kind of ducked down, tried to get as small as possible, but her teammate was ranging over in that same vicinity and ran into her. And there's a service ace for Catherine Borisov, the 5'5" freshman. So now it's going to be a 7-6 lead for Fort Lee. They haven't put it on the scoreboard yet, but it should be 7-6. It still reads 6-6 on the scoreboard as we're playing here. Now they just put that late point on, and it's going to be a double hit called against Fort Lee. So that will tie the score up at 7-7. Fort Lee has never led by more than 2 in the occasions that they have led so far overall in this match, whether it be in the first set or here in set number 2. Rue getting a little help there as it trickled over the top of the net. Casal sending up Conti. Conti trying to cut it, but again goes long with it to the outside right corner. And Cliffside Park takes back the lead at 8-7. Alexandria Conti, the 5'8" junior, been a little too strong in a couple of her opportunities in front. Coelho up top. Evazoglu, who's into the game now. Number 16 in black and orange. As Cliffside pops that out of bounds to that far side wing, and we are deadlocked again at 8-8. Nothing coming easily right now for Fort Lee as well. They'd love to go on a run of sorts here with a couple of aces. Cliffside Park has been very good defensively in their setup. And Rue just hits that one low into the nets. Casey Rue, the 5'6" senior. 9-8 lead now for Cliffside Park. Uchawani, and great anticipation, diving to the front line to save that short serve, but then it falls in right in front of the back line as everyone defensively had vacated the back row for Fort Lee. They were drawn up a little closer to the net than they should have been. So Cliffside eventually does get the point they were looking for. 10-8 lead now for the Red Raiders. Again, another short, low-lining serve. Murtaugh saved it. Now set up for Conti in front. Uchawani. Evazoglu. Goris. But they're going to say a point for Cliffside Park as Goris had ranged over and knocked it out of bounds. 11-8. Cliffside Park extending their lead here. Dangerous if Fort Lee gives a little more breathing room here for the Red Raiders, who already took set number 1. Murtaugh to Casal. Conti mishit it. Into the net, another point for the visitors, who stretch their lead now to 4 at 12-8. Casal setting up Goris. And Goris gets the point. Tori Goris, the 5'7" junior, ranging in from that far side, was set up nicely. Now Pagan and Frankel coming back in. The lead is down to 3, 12-9 now, the lead for Cliffside Park. Ahead 1-0 here on the road at East Gymnasium at Fort Lee High School. Rue, Casal, Pagan. It was deflected a bit, but Pagan is that big force, that point getter in front of the net for Coach Ziemba. That's the formula of success. If you get it to Casal, who's your setter, and she sets up number 18, Sophia Pagan, good things are bound to happen. Rue. Casal. This time, miss-hit. Falling backwards was Frankel. And those are those key misses so far here today for Fort Lee. Just when they seemingly are starting to build a little momentum on their way, they've just not been able to get on a roll, a prolonged scoring run. As Frankel is going to be subbing out and coming back in is Conti. 13-10 lead for Cliffside Park here in set number 2. Alexa Bigler. Nutrwani. The two liberos connecting there. There's Pagan. That is hit skyward, and Cliffside does get it over. Goris gets it over for Fort Lee. Drop shot as Rue anticipates. Casal setting up Pagan. Pagan with a rare miss there. Mistimed her jump a bit. Didn't hit it at the high points, and now it's a 14-10 deficit for Fort Lee. The lead back to 4 for the visiting Red Raiders. Evazoglu. Goris goes cross court, but does so a little too long. 15-10 now. As a sub coming in for Fort Lee. Looks like it's number 14, Nadia Sango, the junior. Fort Lee just can't get anything going on the wings as well so far in today's match. They have not had that accuracy when trying to go diagonally with some of those cross-court winners. That service error will help them out, though. Cliffside Park giving Fort Lee their 11th point and giving the serve back to the Bridgemen, who trail 15-11. Again on the line here in today's game, in today's match. Fort Lee, if they were to find a way to rally from behind and win the overall match, would win and clinch at least a share of the league title. They still are up 2 games on the nearest competitor in second place, so they have some breathing room even if they lose here today. And Cliffside Park is making that closer and closer to being a reality. 16-11 now here in set number 2. A loss for Fort Lee would still have them 1 game clear of Ridgefield Park and Dumont, who each have 2 losses already in divisional play. Cliffside Park 2-3 in the division. Dwight Morrow winless 0-5. Casal setting up Pagan, and Pagan not jumping there, just hit that into the nets. It's been that type of day for Fort Lee. 17-11 the lead now for Cliffside Park. Nutrwani. Pagan. Borisov met at the net. Casal got it over, though. So the near side jumping there was Aligo. Double hit for Cliffside Park, and that leads to the point for Fort Lee. 17-12, the deficit now facing the Bridgemen. Again, we've been looking for it, waiting for it. Will Fort Lee go on one of their trademark runs here to make this interesting in the second set? It's dependent on here, the service and the offense. Just trickles over. Cliffside Park popping it up, denied at the net, and there's a big point. And maybe a momentum point here for Fort Lee. Nutrwani, and then a couple denials at the net by Pagan leads to that point. Coelho, nice job of saving it. Set up for Borisov. The lefty, too long though, as that goes down for a Cliffside Park point. 18-13 now the lead for the Red Raiders, who once again, just like last season, trying to split the regular season series with their arch rivals here at Fort Lee, as Coach John Ziemba will call for a timeout Here in set number 2, his team trailing 18-13. They dropped set number 1 already, so in danger of losing this overall match here at home at East Gymnasium. The road ahead for both teams. Cliffside Park will go home for 3 straight matches after this one, hosting McNair, taking on Bergenfield, and then hosting Dumont on the 12th, 14th, and 15th. Fort Lee, after this one, will play host to Ramsey on Wednesday here at East Gymnasium in a crossover showdown in the Big North Conference before hitting the road for 3 straight against Dwight Morrow, Lodi, and Westwood before coming home to host Dumont on October 22nd. So if they do not win here, Fort Lee can clinch a share of the league title in their next match on the road at Dwight Morrow. But they'd love to get things done here in style at home. 18-13, the deficit facing Fort Lee here in set number 2. Pagan scores that point, 18-14. Who can get hot here in service? Will it be Nicole Nujrawani for Fort Lee? Bigler got the first touch of it. Nujrawani now setting up Casal. Borisov to the near side into the top of the net as it did not get over. And that's going to be a point for Cliffside Park. Again, Fort Lee has just not been able to get 2 or 3 or 4 consecutive points in each of these sets to start off today's match. That one ate up Borisov low. And now Cliffside Park 5 points away from securing the 2-0 win here on the road. All smiles for the women in black and red right now. They've played a great match against Fort Lee. Casal setting up Borisov. And Borisov again mishitting it into the net. (21-14) now the lead for Cliffside Park. Cliffside Park now 4 points away. Coelho. Casal was trying to range with her back to the net, trying to backpedal to see if she could pop that one up, and now it's all Cliffside Park. The Red Raiders inching closer and closer to salting this one away. 22-14. They serve that one low as that's going to be a service error, 22-15. Cliffside Park trying to knock Fort Lee from the realm of the unbeaten in league play this year. As Coelho mishit that one and went backwards. (23-15) right now. As Coach Ziemba frustrated at a lack of a call by the referee, thinking that something was clearly out of bounds on the near side. So here's the service for Cliffside Park, and there's the ace. And now we're at match point for Cliffside Park. They won 25-14 in set number 1. They've taken control late, going on a long run here to end set number 2, 24-15. Cliffside Park a point away from winning their 10th match of the season. Casey Rue deflected into the top of the net. Here comes Cliffside Park for trying to get that win, and they do. 25-15 here in set number 2. As head coach Matthew Brunelli's side was dominant here today on the road, as they left nothing to doubt in both of these sets here this afternoon at East Gymnasium. So after Fort Lee hit the road and won 2-0, at Cliffside Park back on September 20th. Cliffside Park returns the favor and comes here to East Gymnasium in Fort Lee and wins in straight sets 25-14, 25-15. Here in set number 2 with the win, Cliffside Park will improve to 10-9 on the season. With the defeat, Fort Lee will fall to 10-8 on the year. Again, the next matches upcoming for both sides for Cliffside Park. They will head home to host McNair on Tuesday afternoon, while Fort Lee will be in action next time here on Wednesday as they'll host the visiting Rams of Ramsey High School on October 13th. That match you could see here on Fort Lee's Athletics YouTube page. So again, Fort Lee falls to Cliffside Park here at home in this showdown. Fort Lee now 5-1 in divisional play. Cliffside Park improves to 3-3 in the Big North American Division. So thank you everybody for tuning in this afternoon to Fort Lee girls volleyball action. For Renee Manisich and Dimitri Nanis, I'm Dan Long saying so long, and thank you for supporting Fort Lee Bridgman Athletics. Take care, everybody.